Welcome to the Fulcrum team. We've put together a series of online videos in hopes that you can watch these videos on your own, pause them, replay them, and really be able to synthesize all the information given instead of you having to come out for a full day on the ropes course. One of our first steps is paperwork. One of the most important things we do at Fulcrum is to make sure everything is properly documented, not only all your employee files, but also when we're out in the field on a program, making sure that we dot every I and cross every T. At every ropes course, you can find an admin box. It's this black box here. In it, neatly organized, is all the different paperwork and all the different files that are clearly labeled for every form you're ever going to need. The first one is a release form. These release forms must be completed by every participant before they're able to participate in a Fulcrum program. Why it's important that every participant fills out a release form is because we must inform them of all the risks associated with participating in our events, but also so that we can retain and have their information in case an emergency should happen. There's always a chance of risk, whether it's an operator error or the participant does something they're not supposed to. There is always a small, slight chance that somebody could get hurt. So it's important that everybody has a release form and we do everything according to ACCT standards to ensure that our participants are as safe as possible. Hopefully though, if you've done these videos, we've been properly trained and all the document and all the paperwork is filled out, that should mitigate all our risks. The ACCT is a governing organization that writes the standards for challenge course industries. ACCT stands for American Challenge Course Technologies. So they're this massive governing body that takes all the best practices from different challenge course companies and writes it into an effect that's then certified by ANSI, the American National Standards Institute, into codes that we have to follow. Another form we have is an incident report. Incident reports are filled out if we ever have to get into the med kit or if we ever call 911. On these incident reports, it is very self-explanatory what information needs to be captured, and that information needs to be captured as quickly as possible while the memory is still fresh in all the witnesses and the participants' mind. Another form we have is our near-miss form. This is different than an incident report because near misses are things we catch before an incident could occur. That could be anything as simple and minor as a harness or a helmet being improperly fitted, a carabiner oriented the incorrect way, or simply not doing a full crash test before sending a participant up a ladder and into an element. Why we fill out near misses is so that we can avoid making the same mistakes of other facilitators. Lastly, over here what we have are the rope logs. Our rope logs must be completed at the end of every single program. It's just a running total of the hours used on a rope so that we can see A, how is the rope being used, B, if there's any malfunctions in the rope, is it an element or is it simply an operator error? Each rope has its own rope log, and on that rope log is a serial number and lot number and manufacturer. In case there's a malfunction or a recall on the rope, we know exactly where that rope came from and which ropes we need to retire. I know the documentation stuff seems like it's the most boring, but it's also the most vital thing we do. It's also important that you keep your own personal portfolio and record of all the programs worked, and that's so you can keep a running total of your different skill level, criteria, and experience, so that when it comes time to apply for a level 1 or level 2 certification, you have all the documentation required so that we know where we can place you on upcoming programs. Everyone who works a program is responsible for making sure that all the proper paperwork gets filled out and filed away. That concludes our first video. I hope you take the time to actually look through the admin box and figure out and be familiar with all the different paperwork required for each program. Stay tuned for the next video. It's going to be riveting.